not, I mean, you should learn, but like it will give you an advantage whenever you're looking for a job. If you're going into a structural position, there's a couple of software that like will give you a little edge, even if you don't know them very well. Like if you're not an expert, if you at least know the fundamentals, the basics, and you have gone out of the way to learn the basics of these programs, it might give you an edge over other applicants for a certain position in order for you to obtain the job. So it's always good to know this software. Like you will use it mostly through your structural engineering career, either or. Now I'm gonna go very straightforward. I'm gonna explain a little bit of what they are used for. So the first software that I think every structural and civil in general should know how to use is either Revit or AutoCAD. I mean, for other disciplines in civil engineering, it's mostly AutoCAD. But for structural, I've noticed that the pattern now is to learn Revit because that's what we use. I mean, personally for me, like the last two jobs that I've been with at, we mostly use Revit for all our structural design, and it's pretty cool because it coordinates with the architectural, the mechanical, electrical, plumbing, and with everyone else. And it's super intuitive. It's pretty cool, and it's something that you will be using your whole career. A lot of times, some companies they don't need the engineer to know how to draft, but it's always a plus to have an engineer that knows how to do their own models. And it's fun, and it's not super complex. You don't need to know a lot of like design or engineering. You can you can pick it up as a hobby. You can pick it up as a side course. You can even take like drafting courses and stuff like that. For me, I don't know a lot of Revit. I picked it up on my last job. I took like I think it was a free course on Linda, which I recommend. It's a really good course. And actually, I was like pretty much. I mean, I wasn't like an expert, but I was pretty well done. And it took me like about a week to finish that course. It was like 20, 30 lessons, and I ended up knowing all the basics, all the fundamentals, all the drafting techniques and stuff like that. Of course, I wasn't as fast as some peers, but I can draft if the need arises. So it's a software that you don't even need to be in college. You can, if you want to go for structural, you can even start doing it in high school or whenever you have free time in summers. And it's highly recommended. It will give you an edge whenever you're applying for a job. So that's like the number one recommendation if you are gonna go for a structural position. Try to learn Revit. Now on top of that, like there's a bunch of structural softwares that will give you an edge, but you also need to understand how they work and what they do. There's two major ones that a lot of structural companies use. One of them is called STAAD, and STAAD Pro. Now, to be fair, I haven't used this program because our company, well, all companies that I work, they use the other one that is RAM. So there's RAM and there's like a full suite by Bentley. So there's RAM Element, RAM Structural Systems, and basically RAM Structural, the one that I've used the most. What these are, they are modeling softwares. So basically, what you do, you just kind of like Revit, you model your framing and your building, but it's mostly used for structural. So you place your load, you place your wind, and it will help you design the beams, the columns, the foundation, all this cool stuff. The diaphragm, I mean, maybe not greatly, there's better dedicated programs for that type of thing, and for foundations too. But it designs all this stuff. It tells you how vibrations, all that stuff, and it's something that you can pick up on your free time. It's not, they are not super complex, but they do require more structural understanding, let's say. So they're like they might seem simple at first, but they are so deep and they are confusing once you get to the meat and bones of that. But it's something good, even if you just know how to set it up, how to set up the model, how to do the grids, how to set up the beams, how to do like a basic analysis, how to set up the loads. That will put you on way above over other entry-level applicants. So it's always good to know these programs. So yeah, the other one that I really like and I noticed that like most companies use is it's called Risa 3D. This is also a modeling software, but it's more like you draw the beams, you draw the stuff, and it's basically like a compressed version of let's call it RAM and like that, but more like modeling wise and less hassle free. So it's a good thing to know. Another thing that surprisingly like is very useful for structural and for everything engineering is Excel. but like not like, oh yeah, I know how to do a spreadsheet. No, like actually know how to program Excel, how to set up data, how to like input formulas, how to coordinate this stuff, like the meat and bones. Well, not the meat and bones, like the depth of Excel. So, and that's something that you can learn like since middle school or high school if you really are into it. It's such a powerful tool. It's such a great tool to have in your arsenal, because a lot of times when you're in working already, they don't care about your hand calculations. They care about you doing the things fast and correctly. So a lot of times you can have your own spreadsheets with all the formulas for, I don't know, how to design a base plate, how to design a wings, um, some parapet or some stuff like that, and just have like your spreadsheet with all the formulas that you already plugged from the codes, and it will boom, quick design, hassle free, and good to go. So that's another software that is really good to know. From the top of my head, those are the ones that like I recommend. There's other ones that like would be pretty good and they're not that complex. Like for example, Enercalc is one that I've been using like in, I think, all my jobs, but like very minuscule. LPile is another one. L Slab, SP Slab. That's another one that I've been using here and there. But those are not too hard. Like I think StatPro and RAM are the ones that like focus more on the structural part. Risa is really good to know too, and Revit of course, but that's like a total different thing. That's more like for drafting and stuff like that. But it's really good to know if it's your first job. Um, there's other things like for playing Marta is a tool that I like to use, but that's more like personal because you can follow your formulas along. And I mean, most of the videos that I have of me doing programs lately have been using Matcat because I like how you can showcase your thought process. And I think that's about it. If you think there's if you know of other software that you would recommend for knowing before graduating, like when you're undergrad, let me know, guys. But if you know like one or two of these softwares, like at least basics or like intermediate how to use them, it will give you an edge whenever you're applying for a structural position. So whenever you have time during your undergrad, try to like maybe take a course on Revit, maybe take a course on like STAAD or RAM. There's a lot of resources out there online. Yeah, that's it. Thank you guys for watching this video, and if you like my videos, please subscribe to my channel.